Breaking right now, Hurricane Dorian targeting the Carolinas. The monster storm is moving north and time is running out.
Today is the day to finish preparing.
Across the Carolinas, families preparing for destructive winds, heavy rain, and deadly surge.
I'm worried about our beach. It's beautiful. Don't want it to get ruined.
NBC Charlotte's live team coverage tracking Dorian starts right now.
We're coming on air at 6 with live pictures from Kiowa Island, the Carolina coast under a hurricane warning right now. Here's another live look from Jacksonville Beach in Florida. You can see the rough seas and the camera shaking. Hurricane Dorian continues to kick out strong winds and heavy rain as it makes its way north up the coast. Thanks for joining us at 6, everyone. I'm Sarah French.
And I'm Fred Shropshire. Here's a live look at the powerful first warn Doppler radar. You can see Dorian is moving north, brushing along the southeast coast. Right now, its outer bands are hitting parts of South Carolina. And take a look at this. Hurricane and tropical storm warnings stretch up and down the coast. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper telling residents to put safety first and stay weather aware.
Don't try to ride it out. It's not worth putting your life at risk or endangering first responders who might have to save you.
We have live team coverage tonight spread out across the storm zone.
Let's start with Brad with Dorian's latest track. Brad, what are you learning?
Look at Myrtle Beach right now as we see the live view down there. You can see the surf beginning to come up, some of the outer bands beginning to drift towards the coast. We've had a strengthening hurricane. It's not a huge jump, but it is getting slightly stronger, a little better organized, passing over some really warm waters of the Gulf Stream. So you see 110 now. And again, remember 105 to 111, that's the difference in the last 3 hours. That's the difference between Cat 2, Cat 1. Basically 111 would be a Cat 3. So it's really not changed all that much. It's more just a novelty thing to see if it becomes a Cat 3 again. This is what's interesting to me. This is the 80-degree west longitude line. It hasn't crossed west yet. So to me, that means it's moving due north. We're waiting for a northeasterly movement to occur. It also looks like what's called mesovortices. These are little spins within there rotating around. I was just looking at the Hurricane Hunter data. It looked like it flew through one of those because there was a jump of wind speed in the middle of the eye, which is very odd to see. That is a good sign. The radar actually shows like something spinning around in the middle as well. Radar signature, very strong storm, gaining strength as it moves to the north and east. That water is going to push onshore. We're going to see a huge storm surge, and if it gets close enough to the coast, it could bring those 110 to 115 winds very close to inland. That's the difference between about 20 or 30 miles. If it gets closer to the coast, it brings the core of the strongest winds inland. Coming up, we're going to talk about those impacts from wind, water, and surge coming up in your full forecast.
Okay, Brad, thank you. Right now, tropical rain and winds are starting to pick up on the South Carolina coast. Here's a live look from Folly Beach. You can see that rain falling and the winds stirring up the ocean. Chris Mulcahy joins us now from Charleston with the conditions there. Chris?
Yeah, Fred, right now we're still looking at wind gusts about 30 to 40 miles per hour along Folly Beach. There's as much as 50 to 55 miles per hour, and people are still walking by. So they're enjoying the spectacle of the waves crashing up over here in the Battery, including one kid that just walked by. Well, his umbrella got inverted. Hats have been flying across, so that's been the main change here. It's still not incredibly dangerous to be here at this point because it's low tide. Now, once we get to 7:13, it's the official low tide right here along the Battery. Once you get to 1:11 a.m., I'm not going to be anywhere near here, nor should anyone be near here. That's going to be the next high tide. It's at that point where Dorian's going to be a little bit closer. Winds are going to be around tropical storm strength, and there's a chance that water could be exceeding this level. That is 9.2 feet. If it gets up to about 10 feet, we're talking about this bottom rail, and that would be the second highest level that we've seen in Charleston history. Now, a lot of things can still change. Waves are still going to be crashing up over the streets, but this is the time that people are still out and about checking the changes that Dorian is affecting the area. And about 4 or 5 hours from now, no one should be outside, and we're even going to be taking it pretty cautious, especially along the marina. Reporting here in Charleston, I'm meteorologist Chris Mulcahy.
Okay, Chris, thank you. And more live pictures tonight from the Frying Pan Ocean Cam on the North Carolina coast. You can see the American flag there whipping in the wind, and the Hurricane Dorian is moving north toward the Tar Heel State and could make its first American landfall tomorrow. NBC Charlotte's Savannah Levins has been in the Wilmington area all day long.
Yeah, she joins us live right now from Wrightsville Beach. Savannah, how are the conditions out there where you are?
Sarah, Fred, we're definitely starting to get a lot of that rain. Some wind, definitely not what Chris is seeing down there on the South Carolina coast. Today on the North Carolina coast, really just kind of prep mode. You can see buildings like the one behind me right here, all boarded up. And it's been evacuation mode today, guys. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper issuing that mandatory evacuation of the North Carolina coast yesterday. You can see right here, this is the one bridge in and out of Wrightsville Beach. The police are blocking it off. Unless you're a resident going to pick up supplies or drop off supplies, you are not allowed onto Wrightsville Beach. They wouldn't even allow us onto Wrightsville Beach. They're telling everyone to evacuate. It does seem like a lot of people are heeding that warning. You know, we got the news, the tragic news today that an 85-year-old North Carolina man died because he fell off a ladder trying to prepare his home. So tragic. But, you know, I saw a lot of volunteers in this area today after that news came out, going around to their neighborhoods, to their elderly neighbors especially. They were posting up tarps, posting up boards, really doing everything they could to get ready. Rations got scarce really fast in this area. They ran out of sand and sandbags at like 9 a.m. this morning. There was this one business owner in the Wilmington area who brought in several tons of sand and was saying, you know, come and get it. And people were coming from all over the state just to this area in Wilmington. 3,000 people as of this afternoon came to fill up, but they didn't even have bags. Some people were bringing pillowcases. It seems like people are really taking this seriously. I think a big reason for that might because this particular area of the North Carolina coast was hit so bad by Florence. I spoke to some of the volunteers today about that. Take a listen.
Well, I can tell you even my own house hasn't been finished being fixed since Hurricane Florence. There's a lot of us. There's 51 of them in trailers from Florence, and now they're being victimized a second time, which has to be probably the rawest wound. But we're all wounded, and there's a lot more intensity to this. The people are really concerned.
You definitely can feel the anxiety. By the way, officials saying everyone's got to be off the beaches, off the coast by 8 p.m. tonight. We're going to stay out here and keep an eye on things for you. For now, reporting live near Wrightsville Beach and Wilmington, Savannah Levins, NBC Charlotte.
Savannah, thank you. Right now, families are fleeing the Outer Banks. Dorian could make a direct impact, causing a devastating storm surge for eastern North Carolina. There are mandatory evacuations for the Outer Banks. NBC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us live from Morehead City with the latest there. Richard.
Yeah, we can tell you basically there are a lot of evacuations that have been going on since 8 o'clock this morning. Also to some of those islands right off of the coast. We can tell you that if you take a look over my shoulder, a lot of people are taking aim or trying to prepare for this, boarding up their businesses, boarding up their windows, and also trying to make sure that they have something to come back to once Dorian passes. Now, I want to tell you, evacuations will continue for parts of the county that are prone to flooding. Only outbound traffic will be allowed, so you can come off of those locations, but you cannot go onto them for any reason. And tomorrow there will be a curfew. It will be in effect for parts of Carteret County down east. That's the southeastern part of the community, and Barrier Islands also. That'll start at 7 p.m. and it'll last until sunrise. That is for the duration until they decide to lift it. Shelter now at New Hope Middle School will remain open as long as needed. We've been told so far there's a few dozen families who've already taken the county up on that. They plan to have that open for as long as needed. Now, as you come back here to me, I can tell you that a lot of folks that we spoke to say that they're hoping that this is nothing like the Florence of last year, I should say. They say that they just hope that everything will be okay, but a lot of them are taking heed. If you go up and down the community, you see very few people compared to years past. Of course, that's the story here from Carteret County. Richard Devane, NBC Charlotte.
All right, both Floyd and Florence causing lots of flooding. Thank you, Richard, for that. Right now, thousands of people are evacuating the coast, coming to the Charlotte area to ride out the storm.
NBC Charlotte's Chloe Leshner joins us from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where families have set up shop while Dorian passes. Chloe?
Yeah, we spoke to several families here tonight who left the coast for safety, and they're not alone. Take a look at all of these campers parked here. Meanwhile, volunteers are heading straight into the storm's path to help.
Hurricane season has started, and hundreds of thousands of people are evacuating as Dorian moves towards the Carolina coast. But some are packing their bags and heading right into the unknown. For at least the next 2 weeks, these two women and countless other volunteers will move around the areas hit hardest, bringing food to the different Red Cross shelters or serving it right out of the van.
You cannot believe how important it is. It may have been days since they've had a hot meal, and just the fact that we show up and they see that big Red Cross, it means so much to these people.
The biggest needs will come after the storm passes. Hundreds of Duke Energy linemen also shipped out today, preparing to work around the clock for up to a month to restore power.
We don't leave until every light's back on. We start at the largest outage and work our way down to the smallest.
The Carolinas Med 1 also on standby. The mobile emergency department was key during last year's storms along the coast.
We were the only emergency department in a 50-mile radius, and even during that time when the waters rose back up, we were the only available treatment facility for the citizens of that community.
Atrium also has doctors, nurses, and medical staff on standby to possibly go help out in the Bahamas. Live in Concord tonight, Chloe Leschner, NBC Charlotte.
Chloe, thank you. NBC Charlotte is your hurricane headquarters. Brad will be live every night at 8 p.m. with an update on Hurricane Dorian. Download the WCNC app now, and you'll get push notifications whenever Brad is live. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. The company that owns Harris Teeter is asking shoppers to leave their guns at home at one of their biggest grocery store chains.
We're talking about Kroger. They're the latest chain to ask customers not to openly carry their gun in states where it's allowed. Walmart issued a similar ban yesterday. NBC Charlotte's Tanya Mendez joins us now with the story.
You can load up your shopping cart all you want, but Harris Teeter now asking you to leave your loaded weapons at home. Right now, it's not a formal ban, more of a request, but they're saying they're doing this for customer safety. Grocery giant Harris Teeter, the latest retailer to bag guns. Asking customers to stop carrying firearms in its stores unless they're members of law enforcement. Local shoppers say the new policy hits the mark.
I just feel safer if there's less guns around, honestly.
Harris Teeter's announcement coming hours after Walmart made a similar move, asking its customers to stop carrying guns and rolling back its sales of certain weapons and ammo. While some not fans of firearms anyway.
We keep talking about the mystical good guy with a gun that's going to save the day, and it hasn't happened.
We talked to a gun enthusiast who doesn't think a few rule changes will change his Second Amendment rights.
There should be more of documentation on people who purchase ammo, what type of ammo.
This gun shop manager not so sure.
It's a people problem, and that's where I think we need to be focusing on what can we do to get a better handle on that and deal with that issue.
Harris Teeter and Walmart asking legislators to deal with the issue. Both companies saying they'll join the chorus of voices asking elected officials to pass laws on background checks and keeping guns out of the hands of people at risk for violence. The NRA fired back at Walmart, writing, "It is shameful to see Walmart succumb to the pressure of the anti-gun elites." Harris Teeter is actually owned by Kroger, so you can expect to see this policy at all of their grocery store chains as well. I'm Tanya Mendez, NBC Charlotte.
Switching gears now back to our top story. Let's send it over to Brad Panovich with the latest on Dorian's track.
Yeah,
Brad.
I thought I'd start in the mountains first because this is going to be the farthest place away from this storm. And it's sunny now. It may stay sunny then completely over the next 48 hours. As you go from west to east, that's when conditions will go downhill. Another scorcher today in Charlotte, 91. We're in the midst of a heat wave. It seems like we're always hot before we see these tropical systems move in. We're still in the mid to upper 80s out there with very sticky conditions. And one thing I noticed, the dew points are starting to jump here to our south and east. So some of that tropical moisture is beginning to get pulled into the Carolinas. So tonight, mostly cloudy skies. The high and mid-level cloud deck is going to increase ahead of the storm on the coast. Here's the latest. We're going to see little to no impact in the Charlotte region until you get to the Sandhills east. Dorian's getting stronger right now at this hour. We're seeing the worst of it developing late tonight along the South Carolina coast and then through the day on Thursday, moving up the coast. The Outer Banks early Friday and then all gone by Friday afternoon. There's the we're losing the satellite image, but what I've been noticing, this line right here, this is 80 west. So the circulation hasn't moved west anymore. It moves due north, and we're waiting for that northeast turn because there's Charleston. You're right on 80 degrees west, so you don't want to see that thing spin your way. You want to see it starting to move towards 79 there as it pushes off towards the east. We want to get it away from there. You see all the high clouds? That's the water vapor loop. Dry air here, but the high clouds being pushed off in that direction shows you that it's being influenced by that trough. Very well-defined circulation on radar as well. Most of the bands are just hitting the coast and kind of dying. So the rain has been on the coast. We have not seen any rain make it any farther inland, just a few stray showers. But the eye, very impressive in the last couple of frames. All of that water, this is the thing. The winds are what gets a lot of the publicity, but the water is the #1 killer in these storms. And all that air pushing that water towards the coast, that's the big issue. And storm surge is going to be the biggest problem in the Carolinas. For more on the surge impacts, let's go over to meteorologist Aisha Scott. Aisha?
Yeah, and Brad, I want to start off with a look at our storm reports because if you notice, we've got a lot of little circles here from Charleston down to Savannah, even into Jacksonville, just north of Daytona Beach. Those are all reports of wind and also high water from Dorian. You can see here, Dorian's eye is about east, just about due east of Jacksonville. So we're going to really have to watch the wind, which causes this high surge as well. So we do have those storm surge warnings in effect from southeastern Virginia, including eastern North Carolina down through Wilmington, also Charleston, even back towards Hilton Head Island, and also Savannah. So let me show you what happens when it comes to storm surge. As Brad mentioned, it's the winds that's pushing that water towards the coast. So with the winds from Dorian, the water levels are going to climb. So as we go towards, say, the ocean level here, we can start to see those water levels rising to about 6 feet. Now, 6 feet of water will start to flood your home, but once those numbers climb, let's say 12 feet of water, then your home will be completely destroyed by that storm surge. Now, what we're expecting with Dorian, at least along the coast, storm surge anywhere from 4 to 7 feet along southeastern Georgia and even into coastal South Carolina, along portions of eastern North Carolina, we could see those storm surge numbers climbing to about 5 to even 8 feet with Dorian as it makes its pass across eastern North Carolina. Now, Brad, here closer to home, we aren't going to deal with the big effects from Dorian, which is certainly good news, but we're going to really have to keep our eye on the coast.
Yeah, the coast is really where the action is going to be, and you can see all the dry air back to the west. The water vapor loop shows both the trough and dry air. That's that orange color. That is bone dry air. So you don't expect to see any rain in the western part of the state, including the Charlotte area, but you're also seeing the influence of that flow pushing those high clouds away. Watch the rain here not really make it anywhere past 95. It tries to get close to Chesterfield and Richmond counties, maybe Anson County. But that's about it. It could be completely bone dry here with just breezy conditions as we go through the day on Thursday. It will quickly move out of here on Friday, so this will be a quick hitter. It's going to be in and out pretty fast. I know it seems like we've been talking about it forever, but it's been out in the Atlantic for a long time. It's just now getting to the United States as it's been impacting most of the Bahamas. As you can see, the rainfall forecast is a very sharp gradient from a whole lot of rain in the eastern part of the state to nothing back here. So if you're hoping to get some rain out of this in your backyard, this isn't going to be the case. In fact, the biggest flood threat is going to be confined to coastal sections. You see that extreme risk for flash flooding tomorrow. As we go into Friday, that threat will shift quickly towards the Outer Banks and out of here through the weekend. Now, the models, they've been hugging the coast. They're very tightly clustered. That's the good news. That's called consensus. When everything is in agreement, there's only a very narrow difference between the outliers here, but they're right on the coast. So that means potentially a landfall, maybe multiple landfalls in the jagged coast of eastern North Carolina as it crosses over water, then back to land a couple of times. For us, down around 70 tonight, so warm and humid tomorrow. You won't really notice much except for a breeze and a lot of clouds around with temperatures in the low 80s. That storm moves out quickly and the sun comes out, and it's a scorcher this weekend. Highs in the low 90s for that Panthers game and staying dry into next week. We'll be right back.
Now, from the Duncan Sports Desk.
Well, the big news when the Panthers handed their first injury report of the season out to the media this afternoon was that Cam Newton was not on it, and that's a good thing. Coming off a shoulder surgery and that sprained foot suffered a few weeks back, he's feeling good. He was a full go at practice today ahead of Sunday's opener against the LA Rams. Cam, of course, was admittedly down after his shoulder issue last year, but seems healthy and happy at 30 in season 9.
For me, to be in year 9, I'm just as humble to have the opportunity, and I want every time a person see me play, talk, or whatever, have a moment to reach the mass. I want them to see the joy as if it's day one, because that's how I feel.
So the Rams feature an explosive offense, but remember, based on the first 8 games last year, so do the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey and Cam make it go. Then you mix in DJ Moore, Greg Olsen, and that guy, Curtis Samuel, who's now healthy and primed for a huge 3rd season.
I just was getting started, just showing a glimpse of the things I could do, and now getting the reps, being out there almost every play, that's just a start for me. With me, all it takes is repetition, and then I'm going to get it going, and once I get it going, watch out.
Now that you guys go to the season opener, the playbook becomes less vanilla and a little more spicy.
Oh, we're going to make it spicy. I'll tell you that.
All right, meanwhile, the Panthers going to reveal their new 3-4 defense this weekend against a ridiculously potent Rams offense. Jared Goff and company were 2nd and 3rd in offense last year in various categories, but they got after him, did the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Rookie end Brian Burns was certainly watching that.
They like to take shots, and if they get a big play, they'll hit it back again to see if they can keep that momentum going. So my main thing is just to keep the momentum away from them at all times, because they have playmakers.
And you guys do that how? Get to the quarterback?
Yeah, that's the main way to get to Goff. I mean, keep him frustrated, keep him under pressure, under duress.
We're back at 11. We'll see you then.